Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show. Good morning. Tuesday morning, October 15th. How's it going, everybody? Jesse Montaño, Guerilla Sports here. It's been a little bit. I think it's been a week since I've been in this chair here. Guerilla Sports Daily. Like I said, I'm Jesse Montaño. Jay back there running the board. I got a lot to get into today on this Tuesday afternoon. NHL regular season is in full swing. Breaking news out of the NFL. You know what? I'm not going to make the breaking news joke. We're going to talk about Aiden Hutchinson as well. What's going on in Detroit? Super Bowl announcements coming out of the NFL. All kinds of fun stuff to talk about. And then some not so fun stuff with the Aiden Hutchinson situation. Absolutely gruesome. But like I said, we're going to touch on some stuff that's going around NFL. We had Monday Night Football last week. Big breaking news this morning. And then we're going to take a little trip just around the highs and lows of this first week of the NHL season. We'll make a quick stop in Columbus as well to talk about what's going on there. But I guess nothing stopping us. No other reason not to just jump right in. The big news this morning, Devonte Adams finally traded from the Las Vegas Raiders after months of rumors and denial coming from the Las Vegas Raiders, saying, no, we are not looking to move on here from Devonte Adams, but a slow start for the Raiders has changed things. Adams is on his way to the Big Apple, traded to the New York Jets this morning. And I'm gonna save what they got in return. If you haven't seen it already, I'm gonna save it because we're gonna talk about it here in just a second when we get into the conversation of did the Raiders get enough? No, spoiler alert. But Adams is reunited with his old Green Bay Packer teammate Aaron Rodgers. A lot of rumors that Aaron Rodgers was behind a lot of this, with reports that Devonte Adams got to New Jersey, where the facilities are for the New York Jets. Got to New Jersey earlier this week to try to sit down and get a deal figured out to get him to New York. And who was there to greet him at the front door? None other than Aaron Rodgers. Devonte Adams, just quick, like I said, former teammate of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Adams was traded to the Raiders from the Packers just 2 off seasons ago, 2022. He was signed to a 5-year extension worth about $140 million, $65 million of that guaranteed. Now, where we're going to talk a little bit about the what the Raiders got in return, a lot of that has to do with what they gave up. When you're talking about did they get enough back to acquire Devonte Adams? The Las Vegas Raiders parted ways with a first and second round pick to bring him in. Then, of course, giving him the multi-year extension with the guaranteed money. And look, when he came to town, he was great. Played college football with then Raiders quarterback Derek Carr, now plays for the New Orleans Saints. 100 catches, 1,500 plus yards, league high, 14 touchdowns, and helped old buddy Derek Carr make the Pro Bowl for the first time since 2017. So you sit there and you say, wow, what accolades. You gave up so much for him. I can't even imagine the haul that you got back. Wrong. Let's go through the list here of what they got back in return. What the Las Vegas Raiders got back in return for Devonte Adams. A conditional third-round pick that becomes a second-round pick if Adams goes on to make the first or second team All-Star rosters, or if the Jets make it to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl with Adams on the roster. End of list. That's all they got. One conditional pick for Devonte Adams after months of swirling rumors for an elite wide receiver like Adams, given the price they paid to get just a conditional third-round pick. And by the way things are looking right now, I wouldn't be feeling overly optimistic about the Jets getting to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl, as they sit at just 2-4 right now and are reeling fresh off the heels of a little bit of a surprise move by firing head coach Robert Saleh just 2 weeks ago, in a move that surprised many, getting off to a start that many didn't like but didn't think was horrible early in his tenure. It's obvious the Jets are reeling and looking for answers anywhere, and it would be hard not to say that it looks a lot like Aaron Rodgers is the one driving the bus on a lot of this. Now, he did come out and say he had nothing to do with the firing of Robert Saleh, but we all saw the video. We all saw the interaction between those two on the sidelines just a few weeks before that. Saleh looking like he's trying to celebrate a touchdown with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers looking like he wants nothing to do with that. So that happens. It is hard to not then draw the parallels to Aaron Rodgers' tie with Devonte Adams. The Jets are looking for anything that they can grasp onto to get going. And yeah, reuniting Aaron Rodgers with Devonte Adams, maybe his most successful target at the NFL level, makes a little bit of sense. But again, they're sitting at 2-4 last night, just trying to make it back into playoff contention, let alone talking AFC Championship or Super Bowl. And last night didn't do them any favors as they drop Monday Night Football to the Bills 23-20. And Aaron Rodgers, look, again, I'm not trying to harp too much on Aaron Rodgers here. I think people do that pretty handily in the media, on social media. People are very open and honest with how they feel about Aaron Rodgers. But post-game last night did say, look, I've got criticisms that fall on myself, absolutely. But then went on to list several criticisms of other players and little details that they didn't do right that would have made the difference in the game, according to him. So look, Aaron Rodgers has got his head coach. I guess he doesn't have his head coach, but he got rid of the last one. He's got Nathaniel Hackett there, who he brought in to New York, former offensive coordinator in Green Bay. And as Bronco fans painfully remember, former head coach of the Denver Broncos. So Aaron Rodgers brings in his offensive coordinator, gets the head coach out of town, and now brings in Devonte Adams. So he's got everything he needs. Right now, they're sitting at 2-4. At a certain point, all right, so you've got your OC, you got a new head coach, and now you've got your favorite target in the NFL. Can we now start looking at Aaron Rodgers and saying, okay, now you've got to go out and perform. Now you've got to go out and win the game. We'll see if Devonte Adams moved the needle. But this game right here pushes the New York Jets to 2-4 after dropping it to the Buffalo Bills last night. Let's stick with the NFL, but let's talk about it. We have to. Aiden Hutchinson of the Detroit Lions. Look, we're not going to show the injury, and we're not even going to show the photo. It's gruesome. It's gruesome. If you don't have a strong stomach for that type of stuff, Jay audibly gasped this morning when he pulled it up. I said, have you seen it? And he goes, no, I haven't. And I said, honestly, the picture might be enough. And he goes, I'm going to look at it. We're sitting, he goes, oh, and he was completely genuine. Just, you feel for him. You feel for Aiden Hutchinson for so many reasons. This was a tibia fracture. Successful surgery on it yesterday to repair it, and immediately, almost immediately ruled out for the rest of the season. Even before the surgery, just seeing the injury, you knew he was done. But, and look, I know medically this is good news, but they did announce, don't worry, this was not a compound fracture. What's a compound fracture, if you don't know? Well, that's when the bone breaks the skin. Initial reports and initial thoughts were that this was a compound tibia fracture for Aiden Hutchinson, but thankfully, after a little bit more, looking at it, the surgery, all of that, it did not break the skin. But this was a gruesome injury. And one of those things that you just hate to see anywhere, but especially in professional sports, and especially in a game like was being played out last night. The score was 35-6. The Lions were up. This was Sunday, not last night. 35-6 over the Dallas Cowboys. When this happened, they were on their way to an easy victory, and you just absolutely hate to see this type of stuff happen to players of Aiden Hutchinson's caliber, and especially in a season where the Detroit Lions have legitimate Super Bowl aspirations. This definitely takes a big bite out of it. But right now, reports are that doctors are saying Hutchinson expected to make a full recovery, but they have no timeline on his return. Again, other than he's done for the season. That was announced pretty much right after the game. Anyone who saw the injury knew, yeah, that's not something that you are coming back from in the next 10 to 12 weeks, which is roughly what's left of the NFL season, depending on how deep you're going to go into the playoffs. But like I said, successful surgery yesterday. They are anticipating a full recovery. But look, I was talking to some folks this morning, and you have to have the immediate thought for Hutchinson of, one, can you ever play again? Can you come back from an injury that severe? And then on top of that, what type of player are you? How severe is the injury? And is it going to affect your ability to come back and play at a high level once again? So you're definitely thinking about Aiden Hutchinson, the person, as well as if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you are thinking about the player and how that impacts the team's ability to compete for a Super Bowl this year. However, the Lions, you had to do something. You had to make a move since Hutchinson is out for the year, and Isaiah Thomas is being signed off of the Cincinnati Bengals practice squad to fill in for the injured Aiden Hutchinson. So this is a player that, you had to bring someone in. You had to do something. You had to send the message. We're not just going to roll over. Yes, of course, you're bringing Isaiah Thomas off of a practice squad. He is not going to replicate what Aiden Hutchinson was doing for the Detroit Lions and what he can do for the Lions. But they make a move. They pick up Isaiah Thomas from the Cincinnati Bengals practice squad. We'll keep an eye on how he does in Detroit. Announcement from the NFL this past weekend. They make the announcement in London that they have a 2028 Super Bowl host, and it is in this beautiful facility that you see right here on screen, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's not Dome, right? Stadium? Arena. I'm sorry. Arena. Mercedes-Benz Arena in Atlanta with the retractable roof. I mean, just beautiful, state-of-the-art. I believe the World Cup will have some games here in 2026. So Atlanta set to host the Super Bowl in 2028. The next three Super Bowl hosts this year, Super Bowl will be in New Orleans for 2025. 2026, they're going back to Levi Stadium in San Francisco. And then 2027, they will be Stan Kroenke's house, heading to Uncle Stan's SoFi Stadium in LA. And I am just getting the note that it is Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I was led astray by my producer. But I would have believed it, though, because you never know with these retractable roof facilities. Sometimes they don't call them stadiums. Sometimes they go with arena or other place and things like that. New Orleans, San Francisco, LA. Then we are heading to Atlanta for the Super Bowl. Fun cities. Look, I know people want one here in Denver. I think it'd be cool, but the weather's too unpredictable. And truthfully, I still got to get to work that week. So I just wouldn't want the traffic and the chaos of it all. But NFL doesn't make that announcement. And during that announcement, they did also mention, given that the announcement was coming while they were in London, Goodell did say that the NFL is eyeing potentially taking the Super Bowl overseas one day. So I think that would be fun to see. Talk about a Super Bowl that you'd want to go to. I'd love to see him do it. You guys know me. If you follow my work, I am always a fan of trying something new and trying to grow your fan base and expand things out. So I'm all in favor of the NFL trying to take things overseas, but we know it won't be until at least 2029, as we've got Super Bowls booked up here in the U.S. through 2028. Now, last note on the NFL, just briefly, and we saw it right before we went live, so I don't really have much for you guys, but Russell Wilson will be taking first-team reps this week for the Steelers, and right now, head coach Robert Tomlinson is listing Russell Wilson as an option to start on Sunday. The Steelers are out to a 4-2 start right now. So we'll see. We'll see with our guy Russell Wilson. Mixed reactions on Broncos Twitter as that news started to come out. Justin Fields has been good. Like I said, they're off to a 4-2 start. Justin Fields impressed when the Steelers played the Broncos. He's looked good through 6 weeks. I do wonder a little bit, is Russell Wilson, like, is this one of those things where he's your guy, so you've got to go to him? He's the starter. He's your guy. This is why you brought him in. You've got to go to him. Or is there something that they aren't pleased with Justin Fields' play? Again, it's not guaranteed that Russell Wilson starts this week, but he will be taking first-team reps. Sounds like that calf injury is fully healed up. Again, there were many that thought he could have been in the lineup as early as week 2. So given that we're already at week 6, yeah, I think it would make sense to get Russell Wilson in there. But like I said, that one, news started to break on that right before we went live. So just wanted to make sure that we touched on that briefly. We'll keep an eye on that as the week progresses, right here on Guerilla Sports Daily. And then I'm sure our wonderful folks on Guerilla Sports Off Field will be keeping an eye on that as well, talking all things NFL. Let's shift gears, head on over to the NHL and some surprising headlines out of week 1 as the Colorado Avalanche and Edmonton Oilers both sit at 0-3. Both of these teams among preseason top 5 favorites to win the Stanley Cup this year. The Avs sitting at tied for 3rd, while the Edmonton Oilers open the season as the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup. Both teams off to an 0-3 start in frustrating fashion, as a lot of it stems from the goaltending. Not completely, but rough numbers in net for the Oilers and the Avalanche. I think we got a graphic here that's just ranking. Now, this is an analytics stat. Expected goals for and against. I'm sorry, this is only goals saved above expected. I thought I was looking at a different graphic. Goals saved above expected. And you see there on the right-hand side, those names at the top, those are the lowest goals saved above expected in the league. And your worst 3 are the 2 Edmonton goaltenders and then the Avalanche starting goalie. Stuart Skinner, Calvin Pickard, and Alexander Georgiev. And then not much better, just a few spots ahead of that, is Justus Annunen, the Avalanche backup goaltender. Look, basically what this stat means here is based on the quality of shots, how many goals should you be giving up? And it's not good. It's not looking pretty. These were worries for both of these teams coming into the season, both the Avs and the Oilers. A lot of folks looked at it as, okay, you got elite teams up front. What are you doing in net? And so far through 3 games, that's kind of what's reared its head. Now, of course, both teams to varying degrees dealing with injuries. Of course, the Avs last night down 6 regulars. 6 regulars that would not only normally play, but would play at the top of their lineup. For all intents and purposes, you're missing 4 top 6 forwards. We include Gabe Landeskog in that, of course. But then you're also missing multiple defensemen from your back end, Calvin DeHaan, Devonte Adams, a lot of injuries. And then the Edmonton Oilers, no Evander Kane for pretty much an undetermined amount of time here. All big-name players for both these teams. So, look, it's 3 games of an 82-game season. I think there's probably a lot of people inside the buildings for these two teams that are saying, whoa. everyone take a deep breath. We've lost 3 games in a row before. It feels a little bit worse because you're staring at the big goose egg there in the win column, but there's positives to pull from both these teams. The one other chart that I was looking at this morning was the expected goals for versus your expected goals against, not just the goals save above expected. Avs were sitting pretty well relative to the rest of the league. Top 10 in expected goals for, excuse me. So there's positives to take from both these teams, but not all that unlike what we saw at the start of the NFL season. 2 of the league's odds-on favorites to be there at the end of the season, struggling to get their first win on the board. The exact opposite of the Utah Hockey Club, who have kind of taken the league by storm here in the first week, finally handed their first loss last night, now sitting at 3-1. But this has been it's been an interesting week for me watching this Utah Hockey Club. Again, if you guys have followed my work, you know that I've been a massive advocate for hockey in Arizona, wanting to see the Arizona Coyotes succeed. I think non-traditional markets in the NHL are so wildly important. I also really struggled with the Coyotes moving to Utah because that team in Arizona is a team that I've been following. You've been watching their progression over the last few years, and you saw it. You saw that management a couple of seasons ago finally got it right and started getting the team going the right direction. Not ownership, not the people at the tippy top. That was still questionable decision after bad decision after even worse decision. But on the hockey operations side, you could tell they'd got it figured out. They were acquiring picks and prospects. They were drafting well. They were developing players. And suddenly you kind of took a step back, and this looked like a team that was loaded to the gills with high-end elite prospects ready to take that next step. Well, they went to Utah. They get the blessing from new ownership to be aggressive this summer. They go out and they add some key pieces that can help them take the next step, not be completely reliant on, but help them take that next step. And that's exactly what we've seen. And it's been fun, and it's been electric, and it's been exciting. And every time they do it, you think about how happy you are for the players that they stuck through it, and this reward they're getting, and playing in front of a full Delta Center in Utah. But you can't help but think about the fans who for 20 plus years in Arizona supported and showed up and dedicated their time and emotion and sanity to supporting the team, only to see the fruits of all of that be enjoyed by the folks in Utah. I'm really happy for the players. I'm really happy for the organization to see them having, and it's 4 games. Let's relax here, right? But to have some early season success and some excitement around the organization, but you can't help but feel for the folks in Arizona who are having to watch their team enjoy success in a different city. I think you still root for the players. If you're someone from Arizona, you still root for the individuals that you became attached to. But man, that's got to be a tough pill to swallow. This really felt like, for me, the year that this organization took the step, and it seems like they're doing that. Now, again, you can always play the what-if game. Maybe it doesn't shake out that way if they stay in Arizona. Maybe ownership doesn't give them the green light to go out and do what they did this summer, and they can't be as aggressive. But we'll never know. Utah Hockey Club has captured the excitement of the hockey world here in the first week. I'll tell you what's capturing the excitement of me. This new offering from the United Center and the Chicago Blackhawks, the beer stick. I don't have anything else for this segment. I have nothing else to say about this. What else is there to say? They're serving beer in a hockey stick. I don't know. I don't know what you want from me. I absolutely love it. Again, I'm all for doing stuff that puts butts in seats. 24 ounces of beer served in a hockey stick. And reports are that it's going to be north of $40. Again, Nothing confirmed yet. No one has purchased one. This has only been announced. But right now, the reports are this will be made available for $41.99 for a 24-ounce beer. I guess, all right, so I guess 24-ounce beer, stadium style, and then you get the souvenir that your kid can play hockey with around the house. I don't know. I'm fishing here. I'm getting a sour look from Jay. I like the stick so much. That's a lot of money, though. That's a lot of money. We'll see if that's actually the price. But even if it's $42, you know people are going to be paying it. All right, we're going to wrap things up. Columbus started out on the road, multi-game road trip. They will open up at home tonight. This will be featured on the ice all season long behind both nets for the Columbus Blue Jackets in honor of Johnny Gaudreau. It sounds like there is a pretty special ceremony set for tonight, pregame. Players are wearing the number 13 patches on their jerseys all season. Coaches have the number 13 patches on their warm-ups. And this morning, the Columbus Blue Jackets had Guy, Gaudreau, Johnny, and Matthew's dad out at practice, at morning skate, to be a part of everything, similar to how the Philadelphia Flyers did just a couple weeks ago. Of course, the Gaudreaus live in the Philadelphia area. That's why he was invited out to Flyers practice. And then out this morning with the Columbus Blue Jackets, skating with them ahead of Johnny Gaudreau night in Columbus. Look, the Blue Jackets were in town for the Avs home opener. We partnered with local artists here at Guffy Chan on socials. She did some amazing art that we helped distribute out to some folks just in the arena to honor Johnny Gaudreau. And it was nice to see the community come together and acknowledge Johnny Gaudreau and the hurt that the community was feeling. The Avs aligned the pucks on both benches to make out 13 and 21 in Roman numerals. There's going to be little nods to this all season long. And then just being in that Columbus dressing room and, being able myself to see Gaudreau's jersey hanging there in his stall where it will be all year long. It was heavy. I won't lie. It was heavy to stand there in front of his locker with his jersey hanging there. You definitely felt the emotions of it just being there. So we're thinking about Johnny Gaudreau all season, and they will officially honor him tonight in Columbus with their home opener. As them and their fans can, hope continue the healing process by celebrating Johnny one more time tonight. That's going to do it for us here, folks. That's Guerilla Sports Daily Tuesday morning. Oh my gosh. Tuesday morning. We're back at it tomorrow. Keep it locked in right here. We'll have Guerilla Sports Off Ice coming your way at 1:30 as well to continue to unpack everything that's going on with the 0-3 Colorado Avalanche. For Jay back there on the board, I'm Jesse Montaño. This is Guerilla Sports. Thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.